Thanks for coming into Wrestling Spotlight. We're continuing to cover the big event coming up for Major League Wrestling. It's Super Fight. It's coming up on February 3rd at the 2300 Arena. And our guest right now is one half of the Major League Wrestling Tag Team Champions of the World, Matthew Justice. He holds those titles with one called Manders, who you can see here on Wrestling Spotlight. He's been a frequent contributor to Central States Wrestling. So you know what you're getting from Manders: hard hitting, aggressive wrestling. And Matthew Justice, heights are of no concern to you. And plenty of tables are getting knocked down, and you're going through people.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us here on the Spotlight.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me. Everything you said is exactly true. Manders, very hard hitting. He brains it, and nothing is safe in my path of destruction. So,
yeah, I mean, we had a chance to talk with Joshua Bishop last month, and one of the viral moments for Major League Wrestling this year was you going off of the scaffolding through Joshua and the table.
Mm-hmm.
What leads to your wrestling style? Because you seem to truly have no fear in the ring or outside of the ring.
I would say it's my love of ECW as a child and my love of heavy metal music and just being in the pit growing up. That would definitely be the ingredients of the mixture that is my style in and out of the ring for sure. Sandman. Hey, sorry, my dog. His name is Sandman.
That's great. The Sandman.
Metallica enters Sandman and the rest of Sandman. So he's obviously crazy, just like me. So,
well, I know you're a big Metallica fan.
Yes, Metallica, Pantera, obviously Slayer, anything heavy and fast. That's for me.
You can let the dog on. Let's see what he's up to. He's probably trying to get some attention.
What's up, man? Usually he sits right here in the chair right next to me. So usually he's here chilling with me when I do one of these.
Yeah, and he can't even see my dog. He's in the background. So
can he hear him?
No. I don't think so. Maybe he can sense it through the screen.
We can just have a bark off on the interview instead.
Let's just go bark it away. Well, hey, for people that aren't familiar with what the Second Gear crew brings to a match, how do you describe the Second Gear crew?
I would say, just like myself, we go against the grain. We all have the same mentality whenever we're in a fight, whenever we get into the ring. We're always going to take it to that next level, whatever it may be. I'm not saying it's always going to be weapons or, no rules, but we always have that extra energy that other people don't have. We're in it for life. We mean it. We mean business. That's what it's about. And it's not real. It's not even just the in-ring stuff. It's also the way we carry ourselves backstage. It's the way we carry ourselves in life. Like, we're not in wrestling to transition to become models or to, make content and become, content creaters. We love professional wrestling. And maybe we are a bit of entertainers because we're great at what we do, but we love professional wrestling. We love to fight, and we're going to do whatever we have to do. And we've all fought each other too on the come up to become the Second Gear crew. So we all know what we each possess in and out of the ring. I think that's what makes us, the unit that we are.
Yeah, and I know it's a path, right, to get up to Major League Wrestling, MLW.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start wrestling? It's been a little while.
In 2006. So this is my 18th year. 2024 is my 18th year in the professional wrestling business.
But you're a young veteran. I mean, you're 18 years into it, but there's still there's still plenty of tread left on the tire. You still got a long way to
Oh yeah.
go.
I mean, I'm a well-oiled machine. I don't feel like I'm 35 going on 36. I still feel like I'm, 18, 19, 20 years old my first few years in the business. So,
Well,
uh,
a
this
lot of
part,
people say that you're not at your peak as a professional wrestler until you're in your mid 30s because it takes 10 years, 12 years to really have everything down, to know your style, to know your moves, and to really feel comfortable with what you do. And you look across all the major federations, those high level stars, they're all in their mid 30s.
yeah, mid to late 30s, really. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm glad it's worked out the way it has for me. I got signed to WWE in 2011. I was in FCW, developmental territory.
Hmm.
I just turned 22, 23 years old. And, however much I thought at the time I was ready, or, my 5 years under my belt 5 or 6 years at the time that I had in the business, like that
Sure.
wasn't enough. And there's so many pieces of me that I've found since then after I quit WWE. Just not even in wrestling, in life too, just as a person. I need all of that, and I know now that whatever success comes my way down the line, I'm I'm going to be ready for it. It really does, like, everything happens for a reason, timing, and
Sure.
it really is. Like, I've been on the indies, killing it for years and years now. I've wrestled for every who's who promotion. Like I said, I was in WWE. I've wrestled for AEW. I'm obviously in MLW. I've been in MLW. This is my second year now.
Hmm.
I'm the tag champs with my boy Manders. I obviously have higher aspirations of singles titles, everything I can do. Put me in every crazy match they have, War Chamber, everything else, bring it
Sure.
my way. But I'm ready for this now. I'm ready to continue ascending higher than I've ever been because of my age, because of my experience in life and in the ring. So you're definitely right. I look at someone like an LA Knight, like he just got re-signed to WWE and he's
Hmm.
38 years old. Eddie Kingston just made it to AEW, I think, right before he turned 40. I
Yeah.
think he was like 38 as well. And I mean, so that's 3 more years for me. Like, and in 3 years, how much more experience how much more am I gonna have experienced? Period. In the ring and in life.
Oh, very true. Hey, let's pop up the match card here too and just go over it quick. It is MLW Super Fight. Filthy Tom Lawler, promoted by Mr. St. Laurent, taken on Matthew Justice of the Second Gear Crew. It's Saturday, February 3rd at the historic 2300 Arena. And that's an arena that has seen every crazy move because it used to be the home of ECW. What does it mean getting to have a major card in that arena?
Oh, it's amazing. My whole career before MLW, I had been to the ECW arena maybe once or twice before for shows, but I never wrestled there. So
Okay.
my first match in Major League Wrestling in 2023 was my debut match at the ECW arena, or the 2300
Yeah.
arena now, and it was a dumpster match. Like, what of all the things to debut at, like, the obviously I liked other wrestling growing up. The WWF Attitude Era is like, the mix of my soul, but ECW is really what captivated me enough to take me from being just a little kid dreaming to being like a teenager, like I can really do this.
Hmm.
And then to all of the matches that I've had there since for MLW. I mean, me and Mance Warner were in Chamber of Horrors match, like the second ever Chamber of Horror match, and like just me and Manders won the tag titles in a ladder match. Like, I've gotten to add my layer of history to that building, and I watched it when I was a kid, and then to do that, it's amazing. I love it.
Well, I think with this particular match too, this is really your home field because that's an arena that has seen all the blood, all the weapons, all the violence, just old school fighting, not
Yeah. The
not
building's
professional wrestling, not catch as
made
catch
for it too.
can.
It really is made for it. The
Yeah,
building breeds
no
that
technical,
style.
just let's just go. And
Hmm.
you're going up against the WTF, where
Hmm.
Mr. St. Laurent has talked about we need to raise the level. We need to bring dignity. We need to bring properness. We need to bring fashion, elegance, grace. Well, there's nothing graceful about wrestling in the 2300 arena. It's go time. It's time to fight. I
Yeah,
think that definitely leans to your favor.
this isn't ballet, MSL. I don't know if you forgot that, you know.
No,
And Filthy Tom Lawler is a formidable competitor in his own right. Obviously, I mean, I've fought Filthy Tom Lawler in every other kind of match except somehow a singles match. This is the first time ever singles match between us. So obviously, I know what he brings to the table in a tag match. I've wrestled him in maybe triple threat or four corners matches, but one on one, head to head, and but like you said, the advantage is always going to be in my court when we're in the ECW 2300 arena because it's just that extreme environment, and I obviously thrive in that environment. So, the whole mentality of the WTF, it's like sports entertainment, like
hmm
uh, second year crew, Matthew Justice, like I have always went against the grain. I'm not saying that I don't have the qualities of a sports entertainer, but I am a rebel spirit, and I will take down the WTF at any cost, whether it's with my own body, with one of their bodies. It's gonna happen. So
sure. Somebody in a trash can getting pounded
yeah,
through a table. That's possible.
I'll use a bystander if I have to take out WTF. Like be prepared. If you're around ringside, you're in the splash zone. I say that all the time. Like you're in the splash zone. You gotta keep your head on the swivel here, you know?
Oh, very true. Hey, let's talk about your partners match because I think we are seeing the beginning of what may be the next matchup for the World Tag Team Championships. Davey Boy Smith Jr., along with Mr. St. Laurent, taking on Manders. It's
That's a
that
hawk.
same card at Super Fight. How do you think that one's going to play out?
That's gonna be some big boys going hard. I've fought Davy Boy Smith Jr. before in outside of MLW, and he's great. I've obviously fought across the ring and next to Manders in the ring, and he's the man. I always call him the workhorse. He can do it all, and that's going to be a great matchup for sure. But obviously, I'm pulling for my boy, one called Manders in the second year crew.
Sure.
It's just that we haven't seen much of Davy Boy Smith since we've been in MLW. You know, he was around before us, and maybe the first show we were both on. So we're most unfamiliar with him as far as it goes in the WTF. You know, Bishop, me and him obviously have history.
hmm
Uh, Lawler, same for Manders and those guys. We've been watching MSL and his Carney tactics since we've been in the company, and all the other pieces they've tried to add to their puzzle of the WTF we were aware of. But I think Davy Boy so far would probably be the like the I don't know what's the word. He's definitely kind of like the
Well, he's an iconic coming from, wrestling has more than one royal family. He's
oh
definitely
yeah.
from one of the royal families from
Hmm.
the Hart Dynasty.
Yeah, and his resume is it's second to none.
Sure.
Everything he's done, but I mean Manders is up for the fight always. So
And that's going to be a great match. And there's other big matches coming up on here. A guy who's a new addition to MLW, newer addition, which I think would be a great matchup with you or really any member of the second gear crew. The Death Machine, Sammy Callahan.
yeah,
He's
bring it
going to be
on.
going up against Akira. Have you ran
Mhm.
into Sammy Callahan before? I'm sure your paths have kind of crossed going through the Ohio Valley.
Yeah, I mean we're familiar with each other. Sammy runs a promotion called Pro Wrestling Revolver, which
hmm
I wrestle for. As far as wrestling one-on-one, no, we've never. That's still to happen.
Okay.
I'm familiar with everything Sammy's done, his career path, and he's a great addition to the team at MLW. Obviously, we won the tag team titles from Akira and Ricky Shane Page. So I'm familiar with both members of that match. Akira firsthand in fighting him, but Sammy just from his legacy of violence through the years. So I'm very aware, and I wait to have to look over my shoulder when I have to fight him, because I know that's going to come, especially when you're a champion in a company like MLW. You got to have your head on the swivel at all times.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, kind of winding it down, but I did want to mention there are so many major factions going now in MLW. I mean, it's an exciting time for the promotion as we're coming up on Super Fight February 3rd. You can still get tickets at the 2300 Arena. You can see it on Triller TV. But you got the calling with Ricky Shane Page, now with Sammy Callahan. You got Second Gear Crew. You have the WTF. You have the Boomaye Fight Club. So it's an exciting promotion to tune in and watch. I mean, it is major. It is the Major League Wrestling. What makes Major League Wrestling different than some of the other wrestling that you can see in the country?
I think they have a great blend of styles. Their roster is very unique, as you just said. You just named off all those groups, and each group has its own individual identity, and each member of those groups has their own unique individual identity from the group as well. Also, too, the promotions, Dorado with Selena De La Renta, you never know what they're going to throw on the table. They bring in a different luchador. I feel like a different superstar every time, so you never really know. And I mean, look, the calling started with Raven when we were going to war with them, and now it's Ricky and they have Sammy. So like WTF, they just brought back Davey Boy Smith. Every group is basically like they're just pulling these things out of their sleeve. You never know what to expect. And I think that's the best part. It's just like it really is like a hybrid style of wrestling. I mean, we're brawlers. There's high flyers, luchadors. There's a lot of young, up and coming young kids, that I've seen around on my come up in the business as well. So it's a great mix of styles. It really is, and that a lot of promotions say that they have that, but they really don't. It's a lot of the same. There's a lot of redundancy. At MLW, everybody is different. There really is a great mix, styles, appearances, everything there. So
yeah, and that's a great selling point because it is, and it talks about MLW Fusion. It's in the name of the weekly show. It's a hybrid of all the different styles. So yeah, that's definitely something that is a compelling reason. You just take a look at the card. Every match, you have a matchup of different styles, different types of fighters. And just to close up your match, going up against Filthy Tom Lawler, an MMA veteran, a legitimate mixed martial arts fighter, with the legitimate promoter himself, Mr. St. Laurent, going up against yourself, one half of the MLW Tag Team Champions. And like we've been saying, Saturday, February 3rd is at the 2300 Arena. You can check it out on Tiller TV, and you can still get tickets at MLW2300.com. And Matthew, just to wrap it up, what do you have to say to Filthy Tom Lawler in advance of this match?
Oh, that's simple, man. It's the same thing I have to say to everyone that steps into the room with me. Buy the ticket and take the ride. It's the only thing you really can do when you stand across the ring from me.
All right. Well, great. Well, hey, Matthew, thanks a lot for joining us here on Wrestling Spotlight. Really appreciated talking to you. And, we do have that common thread being from the greater Cleveland area. I like the dog's name, Sandman. Like I said, I used to work on WMMS, the Flamethrowing Buzzard 100.7. So we're pulling for you as a fellow Clevelander.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you having me on, Gerald. It was great talking with you, man.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.